I think it's time for a Jurassic break, so next time will be something completely different and not related to the series whatsoever. God damn it!
We're gonna have fun with this thing.
What's up with green characters and being so grumpy all the time? I don't know, but today's Green Grump will be representing a holiday that already passed us. The Grinch is one of the two most well-known Dr. Seuss characters. Heck, some may even say he's more popular than Cat in the Hat. I'm sure we're all familiar with the classic 1966 film by the Looney Tunes man himself, Chuck Jones. But that is obviously not the topic of today's review. In 2000, Ron Howard decides to give us a feature-length version that is also
Live action.
Cartoon turned to live action remake is certainly not super liked amongst moviegoers, as Disney has proven to us time and time again. And you can't really blame them for thinking that. The charm of animation lies within facial features and body language. There are features you can exaggerate on a cartoon character that, if you tried attempting that with a human, they would just end up looking like an idiot. So who do you get that can shapeshift their face however they want, is over the top, practically a real life cartoon character? You know this is leading to my favorite actor of all time, Jim Carrey. Yes, this review may be late for Christmas, but the goal is to have this review up on his birthday, January 17th. If it doesn't work out due to copyright claims and whatnot, then it'll be his birth month. If this ends up being published for some reason in February, then at least I can say I tried. So being that it would be weird to bash a movie for someone's birthday when they are the main star and my favorite actor, you can probably guess this is not going to be a very negative review. I've noticed a lot of people who talk about this film on YouTube say they don't really like it or it's terrible. And while I'm not exactly here to persuade them to think differently, I want to be one to change it up a bit and give a more positive light on this movie. So I guess with saying that, there's no need for a "is this movie good or bad" while using horrible puns in the process gag. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, more like how this bitch robbed me of the only thing that I'm good at. Alrighty then, making this clear as a snowflake now. This is not going to be a constant comparison of this movie and the original. While having the same overall story, they are also completely different from each other. This one takes a lot of liberties to turn a 26-minute movie into a nearly 2-hour one. So we're gonna look at this as an alternate universe Grinch. And apparently the DVD I bought off of Amazon is in its own universe too, cause for some reason it does this thing where it'll skip frames and mute at random. Only during the Cindy Lou Who and You're a Mean One Mr. Grinch songs. The strange thing is the time bar doesn't even pause or skip as the movie does. It just kinda continues on as if that's how the movie was intentionally made.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Guys, I think Krampus is in the disc. Alright, the movie and stuff. It begins with double dating who's trespassing onto Grinch's property, and I guess they're there to find the best mistletoe, but other than that, I don't know what their intent is. Ding dong ditch him, I guess? I also honestly don't know how they didn't expect something like this to happen. So they end up tumbling down the mountain and the dudes go whining to their dad about it.
What happened to you?
It was too Grinch!
What do you want? I mean, Grinch? Oh no!
Dude, chill. You're just covered in snow. You don't got a black eye, nosebleed, yellow snow in your mouth. So everyone in Whoville absolutely hates the Grinch, with the exception of one little Who with a heart of gold. This is Cindy, played by Taylor Momsen, who went from Cindy Lou Who to Cindy Woohoo as she got older. A Christmas tradition of Whoville is a widespread party of sorts called Whoville Whobilation?
Whobilation?
Or whatever the hell he just said. And apparently Whos can be nominated as what's called the Holiday Cheermeister, in which they receive a wreath crown and a trophy. For some reason, the mayor is always nominated, but Cindy wants to nominate the Grinch. Why are there nominations in this thing, and why does it seem like the mayor's the only person who's ever nominated? I don't know. But it's a way to try and make the Grinch happy about Christmas. So I guess Cindy either has a job with or helps her pops at the post office, which that can raise a whole plethora of questions, such as but not limited to, is child labor at that age allowed in Whoville? And why does Whoville need a post office? But see, here's the thing.
I don't care.
The post office is here so Grinch can humorously scheme by swapping mail.
Jury duty, jury duty, jury duty, blackmail, pink slip, chain letter.
And Cindy is helping her dad here because this is where she and the Grinch meet for the first time, but in a not so formal greeting.
My son died.
He saves her from imminent death, which is the first sign for her to think he don't seem like a bad Who. Just a super misunderstood Who. So to get some answers, she asks a couple folks throughout what they know about him. Keep in mind that this movie really only has 4 focused characters: Grinch, Cindy, the mayor, and this woman, Martha May. There are 2 other Whos that raised Grinch, but that's the extent. They exposition, and they're done.
Strange wind blew that night.
Oh god, you're actually showing a backstory. Okay. Here's an adult joke I didn't get as a kid, but I sure do now.
Our baby's here! He looks just like your boss.
So, this is a backstory on why Grinch does not like Christmas, in which case I'm going to preemptively put this clip here.
Starting to notice 1 or 2 holes in your little story.
Because it only partially makes sense. See, it's heavily implied that he, right from the get-go, hated Christmas.
Santa, bye-bye.
Fast forward to adolescent Grinch in grade school who has a crush on Kid Martha, and it doesn't help that Kid Augustus, the future mayor, not the chocolate tube kid, also has a crush on her. He gets bullied about having a beard at 8 years old, which pressures him into shaving, leaving him with cuts on the day he was going to exchange a gift to Martha. Everyone except for her laughs at him, including the damn teacher, and out of anger/embarrassment ran away to the mountain. Snapping back to the present, the whole love triangle thing is still thing. So yeah, the shaving mishap is what pushed him over the edge, but the big hole in this backstory is why he didn't like Christmas prior. He was already kind of born, if that's what you want to call it, hating Christmas. I guess it's something to use your imagination on, so I'll say it's because he had no direct family members and technically had been alone all his life. When he was making this present for Martha, he was happy, he was excited, and then one unfortunate event broke the straw. Actually, you know what? Who's really like to make simple, small words complicated?
Is my Sub-Zero Chilibrator running? I suppose.
Well, then you better go catch it!
So how do you think a Who would say the word straw? And then one unfortunate event broke the slurpity tube. After getting Grinch's backstory, Cindy struggles to sleep, thinking how she wants to help him have a happy Christmas for once in his life. So she sings a nice, peaceful little tune. Well, it would have been a nice, peaceful little tune if Krampus wasn't trolling my DVD! God, it's like Universal was scared of their own copyrighted material. Sucks too, because it really is a nice song. Man, I sure wish Taylor Momsen had a singing career so that I can sample some badass songs, since you can't really hear this one.
Jimmy's in the back with a pocket of high. If you listen close, you can hear him cry. Oh Lord, heaven knows we belong way down below.
The Pretty Reckless is her band, and it is pretty damn awesome, to say the least.
At 25, all hope has died, and the glass of my intentions turns to sand and shatters in my hand.
Until scripting this review, I'd never heard of any of her songs, but after listening to Make Me Wanna Die, I was instantly hooked.
Right up in the light, every time I look inside your eyes,
Man, if you've never heard her songs and you're into rock/metal music, you're missing out. Okay, so Cindy's parents are the worst as they rarely keep an eye on her, so she scales Mount... Shit, what was it called again?
Mount Crumpet.
Mount Crumpet, okay. By herself and breaks into his home uninvited. But it's to invite him to a party, so it's okay. Alright, so y'all see the symbol monkey's hands? Imagine that's your hand. The symbols here, pretend that they are your left mouse button. Now picture, instead of the Grinch's head, it's the like and subscribe.
How dare you enter the Grinch's lair! The unmitigated gall!
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't know for sure when it comes to the POV shots, but Taylor is doing a phenomenal job at not cracking a smile as Jim Carrey does this. It's like watching Bill Hader try to make Kristen Wiig break on SNL.
Tell me, sir, how's a fella like you fit in all this?
I'm just saying, if that was me in Cindy's spot, the entire interaction would have had to be a POV shot, cause I'd crack up the moment he starts speaking. I swear, more than half the stuff you can't script out for him.
Maybe you need a timeout.
After finding out an award and Martha will be a thing, he decides to go to the holiday hoobie-watty. But it ain't Christmas yet, and the Grinch barely stole anything, so something's gotta go wrong as the mayor has not changed his ways much.
And now it's time for present Pass It On. The gift of a Christmas shade.
To add insult to injury,
Please become Mrs. Augustus Mayhew.
and basically deja vu. So he basically burns down Christmas, but that's also technically not stealing it, so he devises an overnight plan to dress up as Santa, who, by the way, can shrink himself smaller than a snowflake and rob everyone of their gifts. Upon reaching the top of his mountain, he's about to send them crashing down until he hears the Who singing happily and realizes Christmas is not about presents, parties, or neighbors that launch the most boomingest fireworks so they scare the crap out of your dog.
Maybe Christmas doesn't come from a star. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more.
You know what? I'll even admit, even though I laughed at this scene when I was a kid, nowadays that reaction kinda ruins the moment because the heart growing 3 times its size is supposed to be a metaphor, not in a literal sense. I'm pretty sure if your heart grew that big that fast, you'd die. Cindy appears in the most inconvenient spot. The sled slowly starts its descent, but Grinch channels his big the cat aura and lifts it over his head, saving her a second time. Him, Cindy, and Max, his dog, ride down the mountain and return the gifts. He apologizes to the town, gets the woman he always wanted, joins in on singing Christmas classics he's never rehearsed for. Thankfully, Krampus stayed away from this song and enjoying the Christmas feast, all wrapped together with the nice, soothing narration voice of Hannibal Lecter.
And the food for the feast, and he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Oh god, is that the credits already? Sure is. But if this is a movie that is almost 2 hours long, and that's how fast it took me to get through the whole story, then what happened in between all that? Absolutely nothing. And that is by no means an issue with me for this movie. Taylor, of course, does a nice job as Cindy, and even though it doesn't seem like her acting career took off much, I am happy that she found her voice in music, went that direction, and had that career drive her to success. But I truly don't think this movie would have been as great to me if Carrey wasn't in it. This Grinch nowadays has a bit of a Deadpool feel to me. He breaks the fourth wall a couple times.
I guess I could use a little social interaction. Kids today, so desensitized by movies and television.
And he's mostly made for laughs while still having a fairly depressing backstory. Me and a friend of mine at work quote lines from this film so much and relate them to our work life. Ranges from, dinner with myself, I can't cancel that again, to hate, double hate, loathe entirely. I also just really love the talking to his echo moment.
I'm an idiot!
All right, fine. I'm not talking to you anymore. In fact, I'm going to whisper so that by the time my voice reverberates off the walls and gets back to me, I won't be able to hear it.
There's so many great lines in this movie and so many great scenes, but I feel it would be a disservice to show all or even most of them here. I have a strong feeling everyone watching this review has seen this movie already, but still. Some of these lines and moments are just so classic to me and hilarious that I don't really have much to add. There are moments best suited when watching it on your own and with other people in the same room. You know, assuming the Grinch glitch doesn't ruin the singing moments for you. The costume is great, though I'm pretty sure Carrey would not agree. The costume for him was very claustrophobic and, in his own words, felt like he was being buried alive.
When I did the Grinch, I was literally, the makeup was like being buried alive every day.
How long did it take?
The first day was 8.5 hours. Brian Grazer came in and hired a gentleman who is trained to teach CIA operatives how to endure torture.
And that's crazy considering how much he flails around like a Magikarp snorting one too many crushed Pokeblocks. If anything, it seemed like he was rather comfortable with it, but sometimes that is the challenge of being an actor, enduring all that makeup. But that's what makes him so great. That didn't stop him from being as entertaining and funny as possible. But with all that being said, it's only fair that we criticize the film too. While again, I'm totally fine with it, a lot of time in between actual story is spent with Grinch either doing random things or talking to himself, most of which does nothing to advance the plot or create any subplots. And if you're not a Jim Carrey fan or don't find his particular humor funny, then this will probably be a boring / annoying movie for you. Martha May, IMO, is too sexual in this. You want to have romance in a Christmas movie? Go for it. It's practically a requirement. But I'm just not a fan of how she speaks.
Isn't this antique darling? It's handcrafted and almost 100 years old.
The muscles.
I'm sure it's supposed to be an intentional over-the-top performance, but it feels out of place. Which kind of segues to Mayor Augustus, who is just a bland character. He's not even one you love to hate. He's more like a villain who has no pizzazz in his performance. Baby Grinch can go to hell with Thing 1 and Thing 2, cause this thing is hideous. And it leaves a very big hole in his backstory that I can't use my imagination this time to fill. Imagination can work for Kid Grinch, but not this one. How does he hate Christmas when his brain barely functions, and how does he even know who Santa is? And honestly, that's about all I got. People talk about how other Dr. Seuss films become outdated because of pop culture or they don't get the original message across very well. This movie didn't really have any of that to me. Like, there was the out-of-the-blue game show-esque car introduction.
It's a new car!
And the is your refrigerator running prank call. But they weren't as bad as, say, a Dr. Seuss character dressed up like an emo person listening to a cartoon band playing Green Day inspired songs. And yeah, while I did say this reaction kinda ruins the whole heart grows 3 times its size moment, the message of what Christmas is really about is still there. From experience, I can say this stuff never bothered me as a kid under 13, so I'd imagine it'd be the same for most others as well. The movie always had this comforting feeling too, just from the set designs and winter being my favorite season. For the time being, I don't really see Christmas time the same way I did back then. But this was one of the top Christmas movies that I was always eager to watch and always got me in that Christmas spirit. Didn't mean to get all real and serious there, but this movie holds a special place in my heart. I'm all about joking around and making outdated memes, but sometimes you gotta balance it with a more down-to-earth conversation. Kinda like what this movie does. Call me biased, cause I know I am, but 2000's How the Grinch Stole Christmas for me is getting an 8. You agree with my thoughts? Does this movie get you in the Christmas spirit? And do you think it could have worked with someone else playing the Grinch? Hope you guys enjoyed what might be the shortest review on my channel. Happy birthday, Jim Carrey, and I will see y'all next time. Oh yeah, and I wouldn't dare pass up the opportunity to say hope you guys enjoyed review number
25.
I want to touch it. Oh.
Hey, come back. Come on back here.
I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna swim with you.
I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna be your best friend. Good feelings gone.